It is a massive industry that needs phasing out. Over the next few decades, the global fossil fuel industry will change. And changing with it, opportunities, jobs, and even prosperity. But one region in Germany could be a poster child for how to do this transition.
And if I can contribute to driving this hydrogen production, I'll be extremely proud of myself.
If it doesn't work in the Ruhr region, it won't work anywhere.
The Ruhrgebiet used to be Germany's powerhouse, with coal mines and steel manufacturing. Now, it turns to hydrogen to transform its local economy.
That costs a lot of money, that's for sure.
This is a story that's taking place in the very west of Germany, close to the border with the Netherlands and Belgium. A region that used to power Germany's industry. One particular coal mine here ceased operations in the late 1980s and has since transformed itself. This is Zeche-Zollverein in what used to be one of Europe's largest coal mines. Today, it's transformed into a hub for business and tourism. Hans-Peter Noll leads the foundation that manages this transition. His grandfather worked the mines, as did his dad. He shut down many mines in the region and helped to transform them into new ventures. Now, the former coal mine is used as a museum and houses offices for tech companies.
What's happening here is preservation through conversion and transformation. I think you can see that very well here. You can take good experiences from it, and those are transferable.
But it isn't just this one coal mine that has changed. Zeche-Zollverein sits within the Ruhrgebiet, in English also known as the Ruhr area, and is Germany's largest urban area. The mines in this region powered steel manufacturing here, making it a hub for industry. From the 1960s onwards, this region's coal production wasn't competitive anymore. That meant mines shut down and workers lost their jobs. And for decades, political experiments tried to stabilize the local economy. With the first plans to shut down coal production in the region, workers organized. Unions, politicians, and industry banded together, and slogans began making the rounds of not letting the coal miners down.
What if my husband too becomes unemployed? What then?
That little bit of hope, that light that we shine, us, the women from Gate 1, that's also gonna vanish.
To keep workers from losing their jobs, the government poured money into coal companies, subsidizing German coal to keep it competitive.
After the oil crisis of 1973, we again had generous subsidies in the coal sector based on the idea that coal replaces oil, which were of course subsidies that were ultimately worthless because, as we realized a little later, we still couldn't maintain the coal industry and didn't want to maintain it when we realized that climate change was happening.
Realizing coal wouldn't be future-proof, politics changed tracks, moving towards educating workers and supporting small businesses. It's a process that experts say worked well, until that political experiment had to be abandoned in the 1990s. After Germany's reunification, public money was diverted to Germany's eastern regions that were in dire need of investment. Even today, the Ruhrgebiet lags behind the rest of Germany.
Unemployment is still high, one of the highest in Germany, and poverty rates are also high. When unemployment becomes entrenched and incomes aren't so high, the poverty rates there are simply above average.
In the Ruhrgebiet, a pattern emerged. Regions that abandoned coal earlier and invested in education, mostly in the south, seen here in green, are now less poor than regions that gave up coal later, indicated in red. We'll get back to that in a bit. So extending coal's lifetime didn't work, and the first investment push had to end before it offered prosperity. But didn't I say this region could be a poster child for how to transition out of fossil fuels? Something had been missing in the Ruhr area for decades. It didn't have a single university. But in the late 1960s, in a bid to counter the industrial decline, the city of Bochum got its first university. And from there, the investment in research took off, with more universities and adjacent research institutes popping up. It was this long-term thinking that Hans-Peter Noll sees as the winner for transformation.
If you want to bring about change, you need long-term thinking. The second thing is, you need courage. Change doesn't come on its own. You need acceptance. Acceptance doesn't come on its own. It needs to be organized. Experiment. Try something. Take the risk that it might fail, but learn from it. Do it better and keep going.
There is a place in the Ruhrgebiet that is an example for these ingredients for transformation. For the past 20 years, the Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Center in Duisburg brought together scientists, industry, politicians, and researchers new technology, because the Ruhrgebiet still has loads of industry that's looking for new power.
We have a very large chemical industry, we have a very large steel industry. We've grown up with industry and therefore it's part of our genes. And we stand by the fact that we are an industrial region, and the chance to make this technology, this industry, green now is a great opportunity for us. It has great potential. It's a challenge, and I'd say it's something like our next structural change.
Here, they're developing technology to drive hydrogen as a power source for German industry and consumers. Salman Fedder grew up in the Ruhrgebiet and always wanted to work on renewable energy, like hydrogen fuel cells, because
we can use it to achieve emissions-free electricity generation. And if I can be part of driving this hydrogen production forward, then I'll be extremely proud of myself.
He now researches the material for the seal that separates oxygen from hydrogen, a process necessary for these fuel cells of the future.
And we also developed this seal here and licensed it for industry.
Over the next few years, the Ruhrgebiet will be uniquely positioned to gain from Germany's push towards hydrogen, because a lot of the infrastructure is already in place.
Having exported electricity to other regions for many years, the electrical connections are already pretty good. And the type of energy supplied, that is hydrogen, will in turn work very well through existing pipelines and also future pipelines.
The Ruhrgebiet will soon connect into a hydrogen grid. Because Germany can't produce enough hydrogen itself, it will import the gas with ships. This hydrogen network will connect German and Dutch ports with major industrial sites. But while construction for the network is supposed to start in 2024, key funding questions are still in the air. The federal government said to us in a statement that how much it would have to pay by 2055 is still being determined. The law aimed at financing the infrastructure is still in the making, raising uncertainty among businesses. Still, industry insiders and politicians are upbeat that hydrogen will transform German industry and the Ruhrgebiet.
This euphoria really does exist, simply because if it doesn't work out in the Ruhr region, then it won't work anywhere else in Europe or in Germany. And I believe that all actors are aware of the kind of exemplary character we have.
But not everyone will win in the transition. Remember how some regions in the Ruhrgebiet are poorer because of a botched exit from coal? Well, take a look at the remaining coking plants in the Ruhrgebiet. In a recent wage settlement, steel workers who work with coke, which is made from coal, are seeing their working hours and wages going down. Experts say the hydrogen boom will bring thousands of new opportunities and retain manufacturing jobs that already exist in the Ruhrgebiet.
We expect that the labor market will pick up in these existing industrial areas rather than in the generation of renewable energy itself.
Germany is still in the process of leaving coal behind, and the Ruhrgebiet is still struggling with at least 50 years of transition. The regions that need to get out of coal may struggle to do what worked here.
What many regions probably don't have is the drive, the power, and also the financial resources. All of this costs a lot of money, that's for sure.
What the political experiments cost altogether in the Ruhrgebiet is tough to nail down in a single number, but it's many billions of euros. When I set out researching this German story, I kept wondering, can this rich industrial nation really be an example for other regions? And I'm still not sure. But one thing became clear. Transitioning out of fossil fuels takes a long time and dedicated political commitment. For the Ruhrgebiet, that means using its strengths to its advantage, repowering existing industry with new power.